Some users may find the resistance on their exercise bike, elliptical, or other similar exercise equipment is too hard or too easy for them, even when the unit is operating correctly. Some adjustment to the resistance system can be made to customize the resistance felt by the user at each level, or to more closely match the effort shown on a cycling watts meter. To make an adjustment, you will need to access the resistance system of your equipment through an access panel or by removing the side shields. Then, determine if your equipment uses a resistance link arm or resistance cable. To raise the resistance felt on a machine with a link arm, loosen the nut at the free side of the link arm several turns. You can then loosen the nut on the link arm closest to the resistance motor to move the resistance bracket closer to the flywheel. When the desired amount of resistance is felt, make sure both nuts are tight up to the resistance bracket. Make sure that the resistance bracket does not interfere with the flywheel or the frame at either the minimum or maximum resistance levels. This is to avoid unwanted noises and damage to the resistance motor. On machines with a resistance cable, you can raise the resistance felt by first turning the lock nut away from the large barrel nut. To raise the resistance, turn the barrel nut so that it threads further onto the resistance cable elbow. When the resistance is at the desired level, tighten the nut on the elbow back to the barrel nut to keep it in place. As before, make sure the resistance is free to move its full range without the cable bottoming out on the top or the bottom of its range to prevent damage. To lower the resistance felt at each level, you can reverse the steps shown previously. To decrease the resistance on a unit with a link arm, tighten the nut closest to the resistance motor, then move the magnet bracket away from the flywheel by tightening the nut closest to the free end of the cable. Be sure there is no interference by the bracket in its maximum or minimum positions to avoid damaging the resistance motor and keep the bracket from scraping on the flywheel. To decrease the resistance on a unit with a resistance cable, it may be best to make sure the unit is in its lowest resistance setting. This keeps the cable from bottoming out when lowering the resistance and damaging the resistance motor. Again, to lower the resistance, first free the lock nut from the large barrel nut. Turn the barrel nut so that it unthreads from the resistance cable elbow. When the resistance is at the desired level, tighten the nut on the elbow back to the barrel nut to keep it in place. When the resistance is adjusted, replace the side shields or access cover.